I was doing pretty fine. At least that's what I thought. Until a lightning bolt, cold light, struck me so hard I finally saw how ignorant I was. You will not get to know what happened because it is personal and not quite important for this video. I would, however, like to share with you what I've learned throughout the process of getting back up on my feet. I think the most important lesson I have learned does everything with one's mental health. In fact, I believe, and there's plenty of evidence I'm right, that everything you know, the whole reality happens inside you. In other words, there's no outside world. It is only you. Here's what I mean by that. We think we can smell, see, touch, but what's actually happening is that we are only smelling, seeing, and feeling a brain's interpretation. It feels very real, and it has to be this way, but since everything out there happens inside our heads, we have to understand that problems as well aren't really there. So, if I have the power to control what I think, do I also have the power to change the outside world? And if I can, may I become whoever I want? When I got the answer, it was just a start of a domino effect. And soon after, I discovered what everybody's talking about: manifestation.
What is manifestation? That's a very good question. In fact, it may be one of the best questions you can ask yourself. In a nutshell, it is transforming your thoughts into physical reality. But before we talk about that, you have to understand the concept of how our minds work. Mind is divided into three types of consciousness: subconscious mind, conscious mind, and superconscious mind. The second one is easy to explain, as it is everything you think about that you are aware of. For example, if you get hungry, you tell yourself, "Because I'm starving, I will eat a croissant." You became hungry, so you consciously decided to grab and eat a croissant. Superconscious mind is the hardest to explain of all three, but since it is not as important for this video, I will just give you a simple explanation. Superconscious mind is basically the universal mind. It is that which connects everything in existence. Some might say it is the mind of God, and for those whose minds are perceiving enough, it provides every possible information to be known. It is available for every human being, but since we are still locked into primitive thinking patterns, we cannot access this library of infinite knowledge. Primitive thinking is a result of the subconscious. Subconscious mind is a collection of all past experiences you have had, both positive and negative. Based on those, it helps you make decisions which results are best for you. It is a fundamental tool which makes chances of survival the highest possible. There's obviously nothing wrong with that. In fact, it is exactly what had helped us evolve to become the dominant species on this planet. It becomes the problem when it makes us think we are always right. Remember, it is based on past experiences only you have had, and it does not take into account every other possible outcome. Here's an example. You're 6 years old and you're learning to do a backflip into the water. The sun is shining and the sea is warm, but once you finally jump off a pier, you accidentally hit your head onto the hard edge. It hurts really bad. You start bleeding and have to be taken to the hospital to get 3 even more painful stitches. 15 years pass by and you have long forgotten what had actually happened. However, something remains. You just can't possibly think about doing that backflip again. You don't know why, but there's something inside you desperately trying to pull you away from even thinking about it. Imagine having millions of memories of other events happening in your past. Positive, negative, and neutral, each forming a conditioned part of you which decides whether you will do something or not. All these experiences are connected to each other, forming a larger unit called you. So, how come is the version of who you are the right one? What if you didn't fail trying to do that backflip and fell so much in love with it that you would become an adrenaline Red Bull sponsored cliff diver? You would be a totally different person, right? But if that is true, there are countless versions of who you might have been right now. Do you like being who you are, or would you rather be someone else? I bet there's at least one thing you would like to change. And now you have to make a decision. Are you a victim of your past experiences, or do you have the power to go deep into your subconscious and change the wiring to your will? If you're the first one, you're fucked. You're just a sailboat with no sails floating somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, wherever the currents take you. If you're the second one though, you're halfway there already. Subconscious mind is the engine that drives you on autopilot. It makes you believe who you are based on your past experiences, which lead you through life whether you like it or not. The whole reality, everything you know and think you know, the whole idea of what life is supposed to be lived like, it's all just a huge collection of beliefs which are complementary with each other. They cannot be realized by you because the very you is what there is to be realized. Well, actually, it can be. And that's where manifestation comes in. Manifestation is consciously affecting your subconscious in order to become the exact version of who you want to be. It is convincing yourself that you are who you want to be.
Fact is that we are already manifesting. Every day, every hour, even this very moment. We are not aware of it because it happens so naturally. The only problem might be that what our subconscious manifests isn't aligned with our true self. It is not your fault that you became the person you are. You did not choose what your parents taught you, what you were fed with in school, nor what experiences you gained throughout your childhood. But eventually, you will have to take responsibility for your actions. It's just a part of growing up. Do not blame anyone, because that is just you confirming you do not have control over yourself. It was never one's fault. Everyone was fed with obsolete knowledge, which resulted in obsolete thinking. However, you can be the one who finally breaks the cycle. And might as well do it now, so we have the most life left to enjoy. There is no easy formula on how to do it, because we are all different and each practice affects us in a different way. I can only give you some guidelines which will help you get to know yourself, so you can find what resonates with you the most. The relationship between the subconscious and the conscious is like a closed loop. A negative subconscious produces negative thoughts. Negative thoughts empower the very same negative subconscious. It is a never-ending cycle until you cut the loop and start feeding your brain with positive thoughts, positive information, affirmation. What you consume consumes you. To make a difference, you are required to change your habits, what you watch on social media, who you hang out with, what your values are, and most importantly, how you treat yourself. In order to change who you are, one must change what he does. Your main goal should be to break the cycle of ever-repeating habits which have kept you from seeing your true worth. In the beginning, your brain will fight against you. Negative patterns have been run for years and have been reconfirmed thousands of times. However, if you are persistent enough, it will give way and eventually start working with you. Meditation is a crucial step to making change, but do not confuse it with what a traditional cross-legged monk does. The foundation of meditation is calming your mind and observing your thoughts as they pass by. As you progress, these very thoughts will detach from yourself, and soon after you will be able to finally start getting to know who you really are. It may be very tricky at first because you may think you are your thoughts, and thoughts will try to stop the thoughts. This is why it is so important to stay consistent. Imagine your mind being like a pond. What can you do to make that pond still? Whatever you do will only stir up more waves. So stay calm and know, if you are persistent enough, you will open up, and your full self will be revealed to you. There are many techniques you can find on the internet as for feeding your brain with positive information. Find what suits you most and be patient. It may take months to see any change, though it is so worth it. Good things take time, and developing yourself is no exception. After all, it may be one of the best things you will ever do. Feeling euphoric can lead to a great start, but it does not keep the engine running. Find a good reason why you want the change and let that be the anchor for them hard times. No success is built overnight, and failure will come at some point. Do not let that discourage you. When you regain strength and motivation, do it again and again and again until it becomes natural. After you have mastered all three, the only task there is left is to accept and admire the hard work. Remember, who you think you are is not who you are meant to be. When you feel like you have detached from some old, bad thinking pattern or habit, let it go. Once you do, there will be space opened up, and you will be able to refill it with anything you desire. The funny thing is that if you believe all this makes absolutely no sense and there is no way it can work, it won't. You're just a version of you which does not believe it is possible. If you are aware of that and would like it to be overcome, you can start by first becoming the version of you who believes, and build it up from there. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no second that can be wasted on self-development. Any work you put in comes out. We also often forget that the goal is just as important as is the journey. You do not fail by not achieving your goals. You fail by surrender. No one can tell you what your journey is, so it is your job to figure it out. I have been intentionally rediscovering myself for the last 2.5 years now. Through reading books, watching videos, meditating, and I do not regret a single moment doing it. In fact, I wish I would have done it even more. Realizing you are everything you have is like reading the last chapter of the book titled Illusion. After that, it is up to you what book you will be reading next. God damn, I've filmed it all. I've been working on this project for like a month and I'm freaking exhausted, especially emotionally, because it's, I don't know, it's cool. It might not be exactly the way I imagined it, but I'm glad I finally finished it because I've really spent a lot of time on it. If you loved it, or if you love this kind of content, you are very welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel because we will be talking about it more, way more, yeah, for sure, I hope, after I take a break. Thanks so much for watching again. I really appreciate your time spent here. I definitely hope you learned something, or maybe at least got a direction where you might be where you might want to be going. I'll catch you guys in the next video.